Hello again, Adamson here. Hey, I'd just like to, fill you in a little bit more regarding this instrument of mine. As I've said to you before, that on my other YouTube clip, this is originally a 2-manual Estey Grand organ. The whole instrument now that I've built all these others on is really purely a mechanical instrument. The first keyboard is still the reed organ, which you can hear. It's got a 16-foot and it's got an octave coupler. And I've also needed the swell pedal of the original instrument, the original manual for Hauptwerk. So I've doctored up another stop on the organ, pull it out, it opens up the swell shutters of each of the reeds on the lowest keyboard, and I also have a microphone in the body of the organ as well, connected to an amplifier, so that when you pull the stop out, it's actually opening up the swells and bringing on the amplifier as well, which really is quite loud. Of course, you don't have to have the amplifier on, and you can shut the swell off as well, and so there's a big difference in colour of the sound. The original second keyboard is now the fourth one, and it's also reed. Again, I've got another stop here that when you pull it out, it actually opens up the swell of this. The fourth manual reeds and wind chest is actually up here behind the music stand, and this is now with the 8-foot solutional with the swell open. And I have a 4-foot flute as well. I don't know if you can hear the vibrato. How I've done that is I have an old cassette player that's mounted over here. It's on play all of the time, and it drives a rod across in front of the reeds, and it just spins around as the same tempo as the play button on your cassette tape goes, and it's got a little cardboard flat, and it just basically does the job of the old reed organ tremolo without sucking off any of the air or making any additional wind noise as a result. And that's just turned on and off by this stop here. It's just an little electronic switch at the back that sends power to the cassette tape. All very ingenious. By the way, the air supply, I don't know if you can hear it, to the organ is through trunking and then through a vacuum cleaner port for a ducted vacuum system that I have on the wall at the back, and then I have PVC pipe that goes out of the house, past the music room, down out the back, around the corner, and into basically a box that's out of the way that has a vacuum cleaner in it, and that's just sucking the air. That's how the reeds work. The second manual, I'll turn the reed organ off, the pump off now. The second manual is this one, and it's mechanically playing Yamaha PSR 500 out the back, and it has different sounds, and the sounds are achievable, changeable I should say, via these series of buttons up here which I have put together. Basically all it's doing is pushing a bit of steel wire through a plastic tube to the other end with a little stopper that then pushes up and down on the preset stops of the keyboard out the back, such as the first bank of sounds are piano sounds, and I have 8-foot piano sound, 16-foot piano sound, and harp with strings as well. The volume control for this keyboard is just on the heel of the volume swell pedal. There is the pivots in the middle, and at the bottom of that there's a steel wire that goes through a plastic hose, plastic tube I should say, that goes to an amplifier that has a little mechanism that turns the volume up and down. Hauptwerk swell pedal. You can hear that backing off quite well. Let me just play, showing you the top keyboard. And the middle one works exactly the same. You can possibly see there the wire that goes through the plastic tube and basically just goes out to the amplifier. Yeah, and here's the amplifier, one of the amplifiers at least. Sorry, the light is not so good. And you can see there, basically, yep, that's just how it works. It's almost like something Fred Flintstone would have invented. 4 separate amplifiers in this organ. One is for the amplification of the reed, which I've talked about. The second one is for the application of this particular keyboard. The third one is for the application of the top keyboard, and the fourth one is for the application of Hauptwerk, which is I will get to eventually. Of course, I don't just have harps. I have strings. And I have also some strings quite with some brass as well. Oh, there we go. Quite a big sort of sound. The third bank of sounds I have on here are the organ sounds, which are quite soft to fairly loud. This red button here deselects or selects the MIDI connection between this keyboard and the top one, such now that I can have a soft organ on this keyboard with the quiet sort of sound of the top keyboard. And now I can add the organ from the second keyboard. So now these two are MIDI'd together, but you can deselect. Keyboard MIDI is a Yamaha PSR 8000. This keyboard is a lovely keyboard. You can do just about anything on it. It has, and I have banks of sounds on here from piano. Sorry, electric piano, normal piano, to strings, and then of course MIDIing it to the bottom one. The fourth bank of sounds continues, more strings, more sounds to more of a full, I guess a full orchestral sound with a timpani on the pedal. You also have, of course, jazz type of sounds, which you can play. So the iPad actually controls this, stops the sounds that are on the computer, the Hauptwerk. Using this iDisplay, which mimics the computer, we can actually drag, and hopefully you can see this okay, we can drag the organ over, and there it is on the iPad. On the iPad itself, you have you can set up presets on here, and then they will play. As I've said before, the Hauptwerk is just a delightful software that brings the building of a cathedral into your living room via a computer. This is a standard iMac MacBook with a bit of extra RAM in it, and an iPad, allowing you to change the stops. So for example, if I want the trumpet stop, there it is. Diapason on the grate. I'll just take off some of the other sounds of the organ. The volume control for the Hauptwerk computer is again via one of the swell pedals I have down here, and I have 3 swell pedals plus the original extra bellows for the harmonium or the reed organ, and on the toe of one of the swell pedals is a wire that goes through a plastic tube, you guessed it, and it goes out to one of the M audio keyboards out the back, and that M audio keyboard out the back has a volume slider on it, and you can assign on Hauptwerk the swell pedal to that volume slider on the M audio keyboard, and it's simple as mechanically hooking up a device such that when the wire gets pushed because of the swell being shut, it pushes the slider shut or closes it down on the M audio keyboard. Well, you need to be a mechanical type of person, but that's me. I'm a mechanical engineer. The other 2 things that I have are some toe pistons, if you like, that are connected to the top keyboard, and this I can advance stop presets or go back on the stop preset. So to quieten the organ down, I can change via the toe pistons. Well, I think I've probably covered most things. Suffice to say that I'll just maybe show you a little bit of the mechanism around the back of the instrument, so you can just see what I've been able to do with wire, blue tack and paddle pop sticks. Well, this is a view of the one of the keyboards around the back. This is the M audio keyboard here, and these are the mechanisms, the little rockers that I've built that play from the console keyboard around the front of the instrument. They're mechanically playing this M audio keyboard. The M audio keyboard is basically less than, $150 US, but this is roughly how it works. Okay, so here we come to the pedal division. The original reed organ has its own 16-foot reed stops. That's driven by wind. By the way, you can see the trunking over here into the wall for the vacuum cleaner. And pardon the mess around the back. It's just terrible, isn't it? Anyway, good help is hard to find. The original reed organ has 16-foot pedal stops, they are still working perfectly. However, and it's also coupled to the grate and the swell, so you have the stops from the grate also playing on the pedal, and the stops from the original swell manual, which was the second manual, playing on the pedal also. The second manual now is a Yamaha keyboard, which is, well, let me show you. It's up the top here, underneath this lovely little bit of cloth, and that plays pedals as well. But down here on the ground I have a separate M Audio keyboard, and that's connected, pardon all of the noise here, that's connected with all of these wires that you can see here. When the pedal is played, one of these goes up, and there's a little wire, a little string there that goes down to the bottom here, onto the floor, down to here, and that's playing a paddle pop stick. Yes, you guessed it. That's playing a paddle pop stick that has a little, you know, a rocker, and it just plays the M Audio keyboard, and that's connected to the Hauptwerk computer. Just by the way, this little mechanism here is the volume control. That's the, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a wire coming through here from the swell pedal around the console, and that slides this little slider up and down on this M Audio keyboard. That controls the volume of the Hauptwerk organ. It opens and closes the shutters, which is that does a lovely job. Hauptwerk have done a beautiful job in creating the swell shut sound and the swell open sound. A different, not just increasing the volume, but increasing the brightness and brilliance as well as the swell shutters open. However, I don't know how well you can see it, but I'll just play a few little pedal you know, things, and you can see, you'll probably be able to see it playing the keyboard. It will be the full organ, and I'll have the 64 foot as well as 8 foot, 16, 32, and a whole lot else going at the same time. Hope you can hear it all properly. But here we go. I should say I've selected the organ from St Anne's Moseley, which is from Hauptwerk there, just to play that. It's got a lovely big 16-foot trombone on the pedal. However, there's the pedal division over and well, here we are back at the pedals again, just to give you a bit of an idea. And the swell pedals. These two here, as I said before, these change the stops. And then forwards. And backwards, and so on. Well, I do hope you have enjoyed this little tour through my musical madness, my blue tack, my string, my wire, my plastic tubing, my paddle pop sticks. I've really built this out of nothing, I guess. A couple of hand-me-downs from a pipe organ builder, a mate of mine, who gave me these manuals some years ago, and a lot of thought and creativity in putting all of this together. And thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it.